Yeah, for the Zoom. You can finish what you're doing because it's just 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I select the countdown. That the one I can call it back. Whatever he was doing.
Oh, okay, okay, all right, good, 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 man. All right. Oh, Barry. Hey, Barry. Yeah, you know what? Did you see a WeTransfer file that I sent you? Oh, no, 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 no. That's for November 12th. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's toward the end of the. You'll see it on the outline. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Don't go down.
Okay.
Okay,
Sure. Okay.
all
Go
right.
ahead. We have an opportunity to share. So if you've had a success, like a health success, like you started drinking more water, or you changed your diet in some way, or you just started exercising and you say, "Wow, I'm exercising and my brain is working better," or something, some kind of an interesting uh, benefit from just implementing something more healthy in your life. We are definitely interested in hearing those kinds of stories. Just let us know ahead of time, and we'll be happy to bring you on and have you share our story. So, your story. My name is Dale Campbell. It's a pleasure to welcome you all here this evening. We are here um, to spend just a few moments thinking about thinking about things that we can do to really enhance the quality of our health on the other side of the holidays, if you know what I mean, right? And I won't get into the to the nitty gritty of that today, but just wanting you to know that we have an opportunity together today to not only listen, but to ask questions and to share your testimonies of how God has blessed you with improved health by following the principles that he has outlined for our lives and the principles that you're learning as we go through these sessions. So thank you all for joining us this evening. And Barry, if you can give us our intro video.
Then
We don't
stay
have any
tuned.
audio.
We are natural health enthusiasts with yet another delicious recipe of best practices and holistic lifestyle health. Our natural health planners, sponsors, presenters, and friends compile and share the simplest, most natural discoveries and practices targeted to restoring and maintaining energy, as well as a sense of well being that we all want in our daily lives. It has been said that health is a state of complete harmony of the body, mind, and spirit. Therefore, through the practice of the 8 laws of natural health, integrated with evidence based research, we see a world empowered by Christ's love that is passionately seeking to be its healthiest in body, mind, and soul. And that's why we're so glad you've chosen to be here. Join us each month to help us celebrate the Creator for the resources and knowledge that consistently optimize His gift of natural healing in our bodies. We thank our hosts at the All Nations Fellowship Seventh day Adventist Church in partnership with Community Outreach Incorporated for providing this one of a kind opportunity that helps us all live healthier tomorrow than we are today, every single day. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's your Natural Health Meetup presenting team for this life enhancing edition.
Wow. It's so good to hear that welcome. And you know what's happening on my end is really interesting. I have my PowerPoint open, ready to show the slides, and I can't get to it. It
Oh, my phone is going dead.
it's stuck. And we have an opportunity here we already wanted to share these slides with you, but I'm going to share with you what I have. Because I
You don't
think,
have a connector, Mijo?
you please put yourself on mute. Your voice is coming through to our call right now. Barry, if you could mute, please.
Hmm?
Yeah. So
Yeah, he's
uh,
a person that went to my school.
uh,
Talk
please,
about what to eat and not to eat. I mean, it's only common sense, right?
let's see if we can put her on mute. I'm not. Oh, here. Okay, great. Yeah, Estela. So this is the slide. So these are all the slides, and for some reason I can't get to them. So I'm just going to tell you what it is, and this is perhaps the most important slide for right now that we could share. But our mission really is to help individuals make healthy decisions, and all of us in the leadership group are really interested in hearing your stories. I mentioned that just a few moments ago, but in addition to that, realizing that there are biblical principles behind these items that we teach. And it's interesting that um, as we work through these, we also want to consider the fact that we are not providing any information that is about any specific disease tonight. We are actually giving general education, healthy habits, lifestyle changes that you can incorporate that really result in better health, improved health, pretty much any part of the world that you might live. And so nothing here is intended to be medical advice or diagnosing or prescribing of any particular item that is designed to improve your or remove a health condition. I also want to remind you that we are part of an initiative around the virtual blue zone. And if you look at the screen right now, you'll see that there are 5 places on this map that where people are living very healthy lives into their 100s for the most part. There's some changes happening in Okinawa, Japan, where this is not as bright as it was before. And the reason is because they are adopting what is known as the standard American diet. And sad to say that that is the case, but still they're on the map with blue zones. The older generation seems to be still doing very well. The younger ones who have adopted the standard American diet for some reason are not doing so well. And can you imagine that if we know that, we can actually choose not to have the standard American diet as our go-to? People in Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, in Costa Rica, and also one place in the United States, Loma Linda, California, also has people that are living a healthy lifestyle, um, mostly vegetarian, some of them vegan, some of them are in their hundreds and still, able to get around and take care of themselves. And it's just very interesting that when we live in a society such as we live, where there are conveniences, foods, and we're going to be talking about some of that tonight, um, that actually are designed to be tasty, to last a long time on the shelf, but they're really not designed to improve or to maintain good health. So I'd like you to just remember the Blue Zone Initiative. When you come back to this meeting and you have made a health victory, we really seriously want to hear about it. And so I also want to share with you 2 items that I think might be helpful. This site is an area where we actually host all of our meetings. And you will notice that this is the topic today: celebrate and be healthy. Smart food choices for the holidays that are made easy for you. And this place is where, if you sign up on this site, our Meetup site, you will actually get the announcements and you will get reminders and you will have an opportunity to get the Zoom link and set this up each time for each month. You'll get this information. I'm also want to share with you our Facebook page, which is right here. This is Natural Health Enthusiasts. This is where our videos uh, are recorded. We actually have them going live right here in this Facebook page. And you will notice that right now it's going exactly what I'm showing is on this screen. And so you will have access to the recordings. I will put a link just a little bit later that will allow you to join these two sites so that you will have an opportunity to be connected with us in between our monthly sessions. So that being said, I do want to, and I can't get to that slide that I think I know where I can do this.
Michael, your PowerPoint is not enabling that content. There's a little bar at the top of the screen.
Yeah, and when I clicked on it, it still wouldn't let me. It just gives me a ding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I tried that a few times, and it didn't work. Anyway, so here we are. Thank you for mentioning that, though. So we have tonight thinking about the holidays and just really realizing that our lives are really designed to be around friends and family and people. If you don't mind, those of you who can, if you could just click on the chat for me. Click on the chat at the bottom of your screen. Click on the word chat and just type for me if you are a person that celebrates the holidays. Just type the word yes. I celebrate holidays. Type the word yes in the chat if you actually celebrate holidays. I'll get us started here. Yes, I see Francita put that in there. Yeah, sometimes, okay. All right, so yeah, holidays are indeed a time that most people are around friends and family and people that we get together. It's not the only time that we get together like this, but it is definitely a time. And I'd like to let you know tonight that Dr. Rick Howard, we call him Dr. Rick for short, he has been leading our charge here for some time. And as we go through the presentation tonight, he's going to be sharing some really cool tips with us. I want you to know that after the presentation, there will be time for question and answer. And after our question and answer, there's going to be some time for us to turn off the cameras and turn off the streaming on Facebook and YouTube, and for just a few minutes for us to just get together and talk. It just so if we can get to know each other, it'll help us to support you, and it will get you to know even a little bit more about us. And we want to become a very vibrant and functional family here of people that are really enjoying improved health as we work together. So, so celebrate and be healthy. Why do we have to even say that? Why don't we have an automatic why don't we actually have an automatic thing to be healthy? And I noticed when Dr. Rick puts his slides up here, you're going to see that the words be healthy are in large print here. And I just really want you to know that we want you to be healthy even as you celebrate. But that doesn't happen in real life. So I noticed that some of you put in answers yes in the chat. I want you to answer this question in the chat for me too. How many of you deviate from health, from healthy choices when it's the holiday? You make an excuse. You say something like, I've heard it said many times, I'll pick up my diet next week after the weekend. All right. Or I've heard it said, um, oh man, I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've heard that. Anybody that ever happened to you, or have you ever heard that? If you have, just type the word yes
I
in.
am guilty of it.
She's not
I
even going
admit I'm guilty.
to. Isn't that something? She's not even going to type it in. She's just going to say
Nope,
it
nope.
out.
Especially when I go into New York and around my family and that West Indian food, I'm guilty.
Hey, yeah, of course, of course. And so it's a challenge, right? So the topic is really about people that, yeah, and thank you, Patricia, for that. You know, it's really about understanding how do we handle this. And so tonight, Dr. Rick, if you want to go ahead and share your slide, um, we've already confirmed with our audience that family and friends and food are all part of celebrations. Is that something that happens around the world, Dr. Rick? I know you were talking a little bit earlier about this, and it just seems to me that no matter where people are, this is what's going on. Why is that such an important thing for us to discuss this evening?
Well, good evening, everyone. We are creatures of habit, right? As individuals, as societies, as families, habits are what drive us. And if we are going to be able to say you have victory in your life about on any level, you're going to have to say, yes, I want to be healthy. It's going to have to be where we learn to change our habits. And as we've already heard this evening, it's harder when you stand against the traditions of family and friends and culture and all of that. So we have to ask ourselves, like this slide is saying, you seeing the slide, Michael?
Yes, yes, yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yes.
You can celebrate, but you always should put a priority on what? Being healthy.
Yes.
And so that's hopefully what we'll catch a glimpse of is celebrate and be healthy. And why do you have to celebrate? God was the one that made the first holiday, and you find that in the book of Genesis, um, where it says in Genesis chapter 2, uh, he made the first celebration, and it was the Sabbath, and he made it a time where he stopped working. Does that sound familiar? He stopped working. He met with his family, and they all had a good time. That's where we got the idea of celebrating. We have just lost the focus. So hopefully we'll bring that back to where we will learn to celebrate and be healthy. And
Wow.
I think friends and family are an important part, but guess what's in between the celebration and fun and the friends and family? It's food.
Food.
Food was the thing that caused Adam and Eve to forget their responsibilities. And a lot of times, I must be honest, I forget my responsibilities. And I will acknowledge, most of what you'll hear me talk about, um, Michael, this next year will be 50 years
Hmm.
that I will have been a vegetarian.
Hmm.
50 years, okay? But I don't talk so much about the years before that when, oh my goodness, I would eat so much I could hardly see, right?
Hmm.
Or I would have around my mother's table that our friends, my brother, and all of the family would join, and every Sunday, I grew up in as a Baptist, and every Sunday my mother would cook 3 chickens and other food just for me and my brother, right? So
Hmm.
between the two of us, we would almost finish 3 chickens.
Hmm.
Okay. You are going to have to break some family habits if you're going to make it and
Hmm.
if you're going to do well. So we want to this evening focus on uh, just the keys to holiday health. Okay. And of course, we're not doing every key that we could, but we are trying to just emphasize these 3 things, and especially when it comes to food. Um, Key number 1, Michael,
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
fresh.
Keep it fresh. Now, I've got to figure this out because when I think about fresh foods, I have something in my mind, and I don't know if it's the same thing that you're thinking about. But keeping it fresh, does that mean it's been sitting in the refrigerator, keeping fresh? You know, there's some different interpretations of fresh. I mean, I even see the names of supermarkets, fresh market or, something with the word fresh. And what is exactly keeping it fresh? And why is this important?
Well, I think there's a reason why Fresh Market chooses that word, right?
Hmm.
Because all of those meanings, and you think of fresh, you think of creative, you think of not stale,
Hmm.
vibrant, all of those things God intends for our meals to be, and our celebrations should be fresh. Okay, so even the very diversity in the term "keep it fresh" applies. Everything you want to say about it, it applies. So the core meaning when it comes to our food is we should be constantly exploring and looking at how we eat and what we eat so that we can embrace new things. That is a critical part that we ignore. Why? Because traditions become habits and we don't break the habits. And I'll tell you a little story just real quick. There was a man that went, he had newly married and he went over his mother in law's house and they were fixing Thanksgiving. And the mother would always cut the turkey, just part of it off before she put it in the oven. And okay, that this was just done. And then the daughter, having seen her mother she did the same thing. She cut part of the turkey off and then she put it in the oven. And her husband didn't understand this because he had never seen that before. So he asked his wife, he said, well, why do you cut that off? I mean, it's the same turkey, it's the same food. What's going on? And she said, well, my mom did it all the time. And I don't know why. So they both went and asked her mother, why do you cut this off? And you know what the mother said? The mother said, I didn't have a long enough pan for the turkey, so I always cut it off and used the short pan that I had. if we're going to break old habits, we have to keep it fresh. That means fresh foods, fresh ideas about it. And you got to ask yourself, everybody who's here, how open are you to eating something different, something new that you usually don't eat, especially around holidays? If
Wow.
you can learn to do that, then you will be on your way to letting God change your mind, change your perspective, and change those habits that may not be healthy. And that is why we keep breaking what we know to be good, because your first duty is to keep it fresh. And this is what God says, but he says it slightly differently. He says, study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that does not need to be ashamed, but rightly interprets his lifestyle principles. I made that last change. You if we are stuck in a mode, we will never change, we will never move, and then our diets will stay where they were 50 years ago. If I had stayed where I was 50 years ago, I would probably be dead by now. So keeping it fresh, yes, we do mean fresh food, and we'll talk about that on the next key. But the number one thing I want you to do is open your mind to change old habits.
Wow.
What do you think? What do you think?
That is so powerful, and I think the intention behind that, right, is it, like Allison was just saying, I'm guilty. She put her hand out there, and she said, yeah, when I go to New York for the holidays, I I end up breaking the rules that I would normally break. And so I remember years ago, you know, dealing with teenage kids. I remember listening to a broadcast, and it says, when is the best time to inform your son that he's going to have a friend come up beside him one time in another car at a stoplight, and the friend is going to be revving his engines up, you know, and 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 um, and it's going to be a race. When is the best time to bring that conversation up? And it's before your son or your daughter has that opportunity to encounter that reaction. So I think in this case, it's a good time to plan ahead, right? What we're trying to do. What is our intention? I think is one of the things that you have coming up as well. But keeping it fresh, being ready to say, I want to do something different. That's what.
So can I interrupt you on that just before we go to the next thing?
Here.
This one thing, and this might shock people when I say this one thing is probably more important at the outset,
Yeah.
than changing certain particulars about your diet.
Yes.
Because it's more about intention, habits, and action.
Wow.
You have to get to the place where your intentions have influence your habits, and then that changes your actions. Without it, you will never change what you do. Even though in your head, you know what's quote unquote right, your right thinking will never override your habits.
Very powerful. Very powerful. And so
Keep
thoughts, feelings, and behavior in that kind of sequence, right? What our thinking is going to influence how we feel, whether we are strong or not, in making the decision. And many times we're making those decisions based on how we feel. But that behavior that comes out is going to actually be based on the thinking that we put in front.
Exactly. And that's going to mold what we do. So when it comes to holiday eating, this is one important key. Keep it fresh. Keep your ideas and thoughts and thinking open to change, open to God, to hear God tell you something new, and then make it an intention in your heart and mind and your spirit that you are going to do something different. Who do you put higher? Your family or God? Your culture or God? Your taste buds or God? Keep it fresh.
Wow,
Okay?
that's deep. So are we ready for key number 2?
I think so. Key
Yeah.
number 2, keep it whole.
Mm.
Okay. So now, once we have an intention where we eat and we have an idea or a intentional thought that we want to do better than we're doing, the keeping it whole is a strategy towards food. Okay, and I put these as an example:
Hmm.
brand, fiber, peels, fruit before juice. Whole food is best.
Hmm.
If you don't know anything else, Michael,
Hmm.
start with that idea
Hmm.
that if white rice is usually just brown rice that has been stripped of its bran, which is the outer shell,
Hmm.
the hard coating on the rice. Once it's stripped of that, then it becomes more dangerous. Right?
Wow.
Food is I mean, like, okay, just using white rice, I'll stay with that, is almost pure glucose, pure starch
Hmm.
when you take the brand off of it.
Hmm.
So the fiber, in this case, brand, is the police that slows down how sugar enters the bloodstream. It sensitizes the cells in the bloodstream so that the sugar goes where it should be. It's a traffic cop.
Hmm.
So if you don't know any other decisions, choose fiber filled foods, eat the pills, okay, especially if you buy organic fruits and vegetables and you
Mhm.
wash them lightly. You can eat the pills and they are nutritious. They will clean out your body, clean up your arteries, and neutralize poisons that normally give you problems.
Wow. So let me stop you there for a second because what you said is a mouthful. All right, because you're saying the apple skin, uh, um, the skin on the pears, um, those that are edible, of course, right?
Right.
Right. But you said these are the police for sugar, I guess, is one of them, and you said it cleans out the gunk that's in our bodies that sometimes make us sick.
Exactly. So let's say something I hear all the time over the years. I've been a vegan, vegetarian, whatever you want to call it. Um, People will say, well, eating all those vegetables, there's so many pesticides on foods and stuff, you're going to get sick anyway. So I'll say, well, you're right. There are a lot of pesticides that I don't know about. Okay, look at what God has done.
Hmm.
The fiber, bran, peels, and other things in fruits and vegetables only will actually coagulate the poisons and toxins in the stomach and sends them out of the body through the stool so that it will not be so harmful to your body. If you don't eat the fiber, the bran, and some of the pills and eat the whole fruit, then you open yourself to sickness.
Wow. So I'm thinking about holidays now because you're saying keep it whole. I don't
Right.
see I don't see anything here that is talking about protein,
Right.
because that's a really big question, right? And you mentioned the rice and the bran part, and you talked about the fiber, but when I think about keeping it whole, um, I'm a little concerned that I'm missing out on some nutrients, because now I imagine you're going to tell me stay away from turkey. I imagine you're going to tell me, the any other of the other meats per se. I imagine.
Can I comment on that just a second? The turkey is going to run from you. You have to run to get the turkey. But anyway,
Right. So
but I think
yeah,
if we deal with that just a little bit,
yeah.
where I'm going to ask you a question. Where does protein come from?
Hmm.
Right?
It comes
Most people
pretty much living thing.
mistakenly think
Hmm.
what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no. I say that protein is a part of every living organism.
right. As a food, though,
Mhm.
protein only originates in plants.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I know somebody fell out. We need to get the smelling salts. It only originates in plants. If you get it from any animal source, it's secondary food.
Mm,
Okay? And the problem is when you get it secondarily, it's already prepackaged. It's not fresh.
mm. Oh,
Did you
so
catch that?
we're breaking rule. We're breaking key number two.
We're,
I mean, key
we're
number
breaking
one.
key number one, and we're not keeping it fresh because all the protein that you need can be gotten from original sources, plants. And
Mm,
it's so good to keep it fresh that, let's say, and we've said this before, and I'm just going to repeat it. If I ate a double cheeseburger and just some fries and a milkshake, but let's just say the double cheeseburger, right? That's usually 2/4 pound patties. But what if you took that up and you made a triple cheeseburger?
mm,
If you ate 3 ounces of black beans and brown rice, you would get 4 times the amount of protein, solid protein, than you would get in the animal foods in that burger.
wow.
4 times.
4 times. That's. I mean, and how often do we hear that? Because even just a few days ago, uh, yes, just over the weekend, we had one of our team members talking about the fact that they were having raw foods 3 days a week, and then cooked foods, and then just juices one day of the week, as a health practice, and had been going on just about 2 months like that. And she had appeared to have lost some weight. She appeared to be more energetic. She appeared to be more mentally sharp, and she said that. And those were benefits. And so, are you saying that nuts and seeds and other things and juices of that kind of thing, the green plants actually can provide protein as well?
Well, let's take an example. Broccoli.
Mhm.
Broccoli contains, let's say, if you took 100 grams of beef, you would have probably 11 grams of protein.
Mhm.
If you took 100 grams of broccoli, you'd probably have about 8.5 grams of protein.
Hmm.
Okay. It's not a complete protein
Mhm.
in broccoli, and that's a good thing.
Hmm.
Because now, if you combine the broccoli, let's say, with another grain,
Mhm.
a grain like corn, now you're bringing two different sets of amino acids together, and then your body can decide how it needs to put them together,
Hmm.
and it becomes a more absorbable, less damaging source of protein.
So if you don't mind, because I'm thinking about the spread on the Thanksgiving table. I don't know all the myriad of things that are going to be there. But if I see broccoli, and what was the other thing you mentioned? The
Um, Corn or
corn,
brown rice or
brown rice, yeah,
black beans.
black beans. I can get my protein by choosing the broccoli and the brown rice, uh, or the corn on the table and forget everything else, and my protein is taken care of, and maybe some carbs and some fats as well.
That is 100% accurate. Okay.
Wow.
Now, here's the kicker though, and
Mhm.
this is why I'm putting it so simply and we're having a discussion. Okay. Everybody's not born equal when it comes to that. You know, my parents made decisions, their parents made decisions, their parents made decisions, their parents, and all the way back that affect me. Okay. So I have to really first look at if my intention is to make good choices and keep it fresh, and I want to start choosing a whole food, plant based diet, then I have to look at how well I absorb.
Hmm.
Most people don't realize when they lose weight, when they eat vegetarian food, they lose weight because number one, your body is purging um, undigested food we normally call fecal matter in your gut that you're storing, saving for a rainy day,
Wow.
right? Most of that is what the weight and the water that it holds is that's what you're getting rid of. So you shed weight because you're getting rid of waste. So waste elimination is one of the first things that your body does when you keep it whole. Bran, fiber, pills, fruit before juice, these things will purge waste and toxins from your body.
Hmm. And something else that you mentioned with the fiber and the bran, it slows down the absorption of some of these items, which also is part of helping to reduce the weight because it gives the body
Exactly.
some time. Yeah, interesting.
Exactly. So
Wow.
if you were to eat a family size bag of broccoli, you just were so hungry and you just said, I'm gonna eat that by myself, one meal, you would probably eat about 150 calories, 200 calories. The whole bag. I
Yeah,
mean, the
yeah,
whole bag, a
right.
family size bag of
Wow,
broccoli would only be 150 calories.
right.
So it's naturally low fat.
So one of the concerns that I have now, Dr. Rick, and I'm sure parts of our audience is really thinking about this. I want to celebrate. I want something delicious. You know, I want to keep it whole. I want to keep it, um, you know,
Fresh, something new.
fresh. Right. I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep it whole, and I get that. But then I want it to be like delicious. I want to celebrate with my friends and family while I'm enjoying some great food.
So let me ask you a question that may seem irrelevant, but
Yeah.
um, you're in school, right? Working on a terminal degree, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it easy or is it hard? do you lay back on the couch most days, or what do you have to do?
I do a lot of things I don't really want to do.
Oh,
I do a lot of things that take a lot of time and a lot of thinking and a lot of work. Yeah.
so
Not,
the only time that changing your diet will be absolutely easy is over with. Adam and Eve had that one chance and they blew it. They blew it. If you're gonna get mad at somebody, don't get mad at God. Get mad at your parents, your foreparents, your great 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 parents.
oh wow.
Because now God told us in Genesis 3, he said, Rick, by the sweat of your brow, things are going to happen. You shall eat your bread by the sweat of your brow. It's going to take intention, study, prayer,
Mm,
fasting. I mean, a lot of people raise the point. Ellen White and some of the pioneers of good health habits. She struggled with chicken, and
mhm.
so she said to herself, I am not going to eat another thing until I overcome
Mm,
my lust for this.
wow. So you're saying that there are ways, there are principles and strategies that we can use to look at the big spread on the table, all of the things that are not healthy, we can actually avoid them. We can get to that point where we pick from that what is healthy, what is fresh, and what is whole.
Have you ever lifted 500 pounds, Michael?
Never.
Never?
I don't think so. No.
You want to try it tomorrow? You have to prepare before, and that's why we're talking about foods and celebrations in this simple way,
Yeah.
because you can't wait till you get to the dinner table
Yeah.
to try to make those decisions.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will not work. That's why we fail, because we have to be intentional and think about it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Prepare for the test. Don't depend on your prayer before you take the test.
And one of the things, Dr. Rick, that I think I should probably mention here, um, for the benefit of those that are here, just a reminder, this for me is year 16, almost year 16 being diabetes free. And during the time that I was studying and figuring this stuff out, uh, I had to actually make some serious decisions about what I was going to do as I was traveling in airplanes all around the country. I actually had to decide to prepare my meals, put them in the freezer so they, would be able to last on the plane, and traveled with them and prepared my meals. And I still do that to this day when I travel. For the most part, I prepare my meals in my hotel room, going to the supermarket and getting the items. And that is something that I did for about 4 years. I'm not saying that anybody else has to do that or that people need to get to that level, but it was a decision that I made. And that's why I can today celebrate the fact that I'm diabetes free.
So
So,
I would come back to your original question
yeah,
or statement. I insist that my food tastes good.
okay,
I do not like, I was gonna say, nasty food.
okay.
I don't want it to taste bad. So you just have to be intentional about making it good. You learn to cook things in a way
Hmm,
that they are tasty and healthy. Okay? That's learning. That's a
hmm,
learned process. You had to, and this again, I'm going to state this over and over. Good health does not start with just choosing certain foods and other foods.
Mm.
Good health starts with building healthy habits.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move to applying that power of choice to your life.
Wow.
Does that
Wow.
make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Starts with healthy habits.
So you're not going to come and avoid processed food if you haven't learned why you're going to choose fresh food.
Hmm.
Okay. Is there something wrong with using a can of beans? No. Right? No. But it's better if you take the beans and cook them. Right?
In other words, instead of popping the can open and having it ready in 7 minutes, then it's going to take about 90 minutes to cook them fresh, or
Exactly.
right.
And so you know, I mean, we could go into toxins. If you go back to the 1800s, before they had canned foods, they had no choice but to eat it fresh or smoked or pickled or something like that.
Hmm.
And God winked at that.
Hmm.
Okay. But really, when we have refrigeration, we have freezers,
Mm-hmm.
we have all sorts of things where we can eat fresher foods, that should not be a stopping point for us.
Hmm.
We should not go back to the 1800s or 1700s and say that's how we should do things,
Hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, fresh fruit, fresh is always better than other fruits.
Hmm.
If you can't get fresh, okay, you can get dried fruits, but dried fruits has its disadvantage.
Hmm. Interesting.
Okay, so trans fats is not a natural thing, but it's in most foods that we eat, because not because it's healthier, not because it's helpful.
Hmm.
Why? Because it prolongs the shelf life of food.
Wow. So the
That's the only
packaging.
reason that they hydrogenated fats.
Wow. And so just that change in the structure, in the way that the fats are presented in those processed foods, has a long-term impact on our health.
Right. Because if it stays, if it preserves, so to speak, the food,
Hmm.
it pickles and preserves our bodies, and we don't get to grow. Bodies are meant to be dynamic. If
Wow.
you cut an apple open, if you cut a banana open and sit it out, what's going to happen?
It's going to turn brown
It
quickly.
changes, it
Yeah.
oxidizes,
Yeah.
right? So again, this doesn't sound like we're teaching people to celebrate. What we're doing next month, we're going to talk about the happy part more so, right?
Yes.
The recipes and what we do. But this month, you have to prepare for the onslaught that's coming, normally called the holiday, right? So
So
keep it fresh, keep it whole, and then key in and avoid processed foods.
wow. Wow. And processed foods, um, are everywhere. Um, and have uh, many of them have good ingredients in them. There's an effort now in some stores to just have just a simple list of ingredients, even though it's something in a box or a jar that is processed. And is there anything, but a lot of the products, even so, have some additives, right?
Right.
And these additives, the way that I like to put it, they're not food. They're you were talking about trans fats earlier, but just sodium benzoate,
Right.
or chemicals of that nature, and we think, well, it's grape juice or it's some form of juice, but now there's this thing added to it, and so that in itself is a processed kind of thing. But is there a difference if I were to get now, say, an organic 32-ounce jar of pineapple juice that has pure pineapple juice in it? Is that processed in the sense that we're talking about here?
Well, I'll give you an example. Not using that, I'll come back to the pineapple juice, but
Sure.
okay, most people here have heard of, if not tasted, Welch's grape juice.
Hmm.
Okay,
I'm sure.
100% grape juice. We see it's 100%. We say it's pure, it's grape juice, nothing else. Okay, it's good, right? But the problem is the way they process the grape juice, it is very high in fluoride.
Mm.
But because it comes through the processing method, they don't have to list it among the ingredients, even though it's very high in fluoride. So the processing gives them a chance to hide part of what they're doing.
Wow.
Okay, so Ben and Jerry's ice cream, the cherry flavor, or Ocean Spray, cranberry. There was a cranberry grape or cranberry juice. It used bugs in it.
Mm.
They literally got bugs from Mexico and put them in there, but you never see that listed on the ingredients. Well, it's there, but it's not, you don't know what it is. So I guess, when it comes to things like pineapple juice, they're doing something now called flash pasteurization.
Yes.
So instead of boiling it to get rid of disease and things like that, they squeeze it, and while it's fresh, they flash pasteurize it in a little hot water, then cold.
Mm.
And that way, they get the benefits of pasteurization somewhat without cooking the food. If you drink most pineapple juice, to me, it tastes burned. It tastes off.
Oh, is
If
that
you
right? Yeah.
taste fresh orange juice, totally different,
Interesting.
right?
So you're saying back in the day, you mentioned the 1800s earlier, they didn't have all of these conveniences where we could actually just go and pick up the thing already done for us. They probably ended up squeezing and getting the juice out of something or having the fresh fruit themselves. That was the way of the day. So you're saying that it is still better to go back to the fruit before the juice.
Well, just picture this.
Yeah.
Um, what if you went to heaven and you saw God go in the refrigerator for something? I mean, do you think there's a refrigerator in heaven? I mean, come on, just think about it. God says, "Oh, excuse me, you want something to drink, Rick? I'm going to get it out. I'm going to the fridge. Do you want something to drink?" What? No, he showed you something really important in Revelation chapter 22 and or is that 21? I think that's 21. And then Isaiah chapter 65, Ezekiel chapter 47, he shows you fresh foods. He said it's going to, on this side of the river of life, and on that side, the tree is going to do what? Bear 12 manner of fruit each month. going to be different.
Wow.
What? Fresh food. He keeps it fresh.
Wow. So processed food is not just the highly processed foods. It's anything that is not whole.
It's okay. So the processed food is something that we're going to have to teach ourselves how to abide with the taste of it.
Yeah.
Most people, and we don't want any confessions, but how many people eat salad and they say, "Oh, I love salad," but then they have more salad dressing on it than salad? We love the taste of vinegar. We
Yeah.
love the taste of sugar. We love the taste of
Hmm.
the spices.
Yes.
You should give yourself an opportunity to eat with just something slight on it. If you usually, and I'm going to exaggerate, if you usually put 3 tablespoons of salad dressing on your on your salad, go with 1 and just see the difference that's made, so that you can experience moving in the direction of wholeness, right? That's for some people is challenging enough.
Wow. I remember when I was there. I remember when I
Oh
was
yeah.
there because used to have to cut back on the dressing. I was one of those people, Rick, that where I actually had more dressing than salad.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness. People
yeah,
put so much salad dressing, ranch,
yeah,
you can hardly see the salad.
yeah.
So,
Interesting.
do you want to take a few minutes to take a
Yeah,
break and give
yeah,
Yolanda a
yeah.
brief
So,
time? You can
so
walk
yes,
her
yes. In
through
fact,
her testimony.
let's do that. I was so absorbed in the conversation here, I forgot about the timing of things and what was happening. Um, Barry, if you don't mind playing video number 2 for us, so we can do that. And Rick, you may want to stop sharing for.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Wow. This is so educational. Thank you for sharing these tips and ideas. And I know we have a few more items to come up with. And we have a testimony tonight, and we have a recipe for you tonight. Believe it or not, we actually got a recipe in, uh, and it's going to give you an opportunity to use this over the holidays.
Let me get back here to this screen. Sorry. Okay.
You want to
Yeah,
play
you
the
should see a
video,
red
recipe
button at the
video, or the
top that says
closing?
stop share.
Yeah, I got to get back to that screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and take a look at the chat there, Rick, if you there's a question in there for you.
Well,
No, no, you go ahead, Barry. Yeah, just take a look at it.
yeah.
Okay, that's disgusting.
That is so my daughter. We're thrilled that you're attending this edition of your Natural Health Meetup. In between our monthly sessions, you can stay connected with us in as many as 3 easy ways. Our Facebook group has our live as well as archived videos along with other natural health updates and a place to post your questions. Our Natural Health Learn and Share Meetup site has announcements, reminders, and messages for you, and also our confidential requests for prayer page. We love to pray for you and any concerns of life that you may have. Use the link on the screen to stay connected for any one of these or all 3.
One is, of course, for our Facebook group, which does nothing but these programs. We actually have them all archived here on Facebook. It's a group where you have to get permission to join, but I'm putting that in the chat. Those are 2 links. And then there's also a survey. If you have an opportunity, you have an idea, you have a topic, you have something that you'd like us to discuss, please be sure to let us know with that as well. So I believe what I'd like to do at this point is to bring Yolanda in.
Yes.
Yeah, and Yolanda, if you don't mind coming on, uh, getting your mute there, and just sharing with us briefly experiences that you've had with this, keeping it fresh, keeping it whole, and avoiding unprocessed foods. What has been your experience?
Hello, hello, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, I want to share with you and the rest of the people here my experience, my testimony.
Yes.
You know, I grew up seeing my mother suffering for pain, for health issues. You know, she didn't have good habits.
Mm.
Talking about food, she was the kind of person, if she didn't eat beef, she was not happy.
Mm.
She fried the chicken's skin and eating like that. You
Mm.
know, she
Mm-hmm.
was that kind of person, but she suffered too much for pain. And the doctor said she had uric acid in a high level.
Yes.
When I heard that, I said, I don't want to suffer like my mother. And I stopped eating beef. That was over 30 something years, you know. And that took me to the next level to think, okay, should what should I eat to get a better life, a better health?
Mm.
And I decided to eat, like the Dr. Rick said, fresh food.
Mm.
I'm eating right now more vegetable, more fruit, more seed, more beans, something that in the food I'm eating.
Mm.
And my experience is my health is had changed
Mm.
so tremendously. Right now, I'm feeling more energetic. My mentally is more sharp or more bright. You know, my memory is working better too, like it used to be. And that's the reason why I telling my testimony, because my testimony can be any of you testimonies too. I was taking notes when Dr. Rick was talking, you know, and he said we need to pay attention what we eat and how we eat.
Mm.
And that is my experience. I'm paying attention carefully what I'm eating and how I'm eating, because I know dependent of that, my health issues can improve.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Thank
and
you
that is
so
my
very much,
testimony.
Yolanda, for sharing that. And I know that there are others here who have had similar experiences. We'd love to hear from you in our upcoming programs as we share each month during this time. I did want to, Yolanda, you mentioned something that I want to also ask Dr. Rick to briefly discuss, and that is the when we eat in the day. I know that we had a program on that. We've had food combinations last month, and then the timing of the meals and so on, how important that is to optimize our health. And Dr. Rick, just during the holidays here, uh, we have people that kind of eat the whole day through. I used to do that, and every once in a while I get caught up in that habit again, even though it's a different kind of food now. But what is the recommendation for the celebratory time of day and the eating part of it when we all get together?
So, I told you I had these four main rules for eating,
Yes.
healthy rules. Uh, can I share that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's share that. Let me get over here and do this first.
If you can do that in about 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it in 2 minutes. How about
Okay. All right, that's
that?
good.
Let's see. And I gotta get back and share. Okay. Let's share this real quick.
Mhm.
Okay, so all I want you to see in these four main rules of healthy eating, you have four things. Yes, we want to deal with a balanced diet, but that means you have to learn what are acidic foods and what are alkaline foods and how you balance those. Okay, and I'll show you a little something of that. But you have to learn food combinations and eat a variety, and you want to limit the amounts of food types that you eat per meal. So
Mm.
just 3 to 4 types per meal.
Hmm.
Okay. The second thing is, and maybe the first, is be conscious about your choices. Eat for strength and not just for taste.
Mm.
Okay. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Eat with a clear mind. Study to improve yourself.
Mm.
Okay. Then eating, the pleasure of eating should not overtake everything else. Okay. You want your eating to be a pleasurable thing, but the eating mode should be the right food on time, the right food at the right time. Heavier foods should be in the morning. And as you get to the afternoon, it should be lighter. And then as you get to the evening, that's when, if you have a third meal, it should just be a smoothie. It should just be cut fruit. It should just be something simple.
Hmm.
Okay. Eat fresh, high quality food. Don't overcook. Ignore food fads, follow God. If Adam and Eve had practiced those things, the right food on time, eat fresh, don't overdo, forget fads, and follow God, we wouldn't be in this mess. Right? You
Yeah.
got to admit it. So, I'm going to show you real quick this slide.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is alkaline foods,
Yeah.
and we went over this, so I won't spend a lot of time. But there are foods that they balance each other. We want to choose wisely. But let me show you this chart, which I don't think I've ever shown before, or I might have.
No.
Your diet should be 80% alkaline forming foods, 20% acid. That's a rough estimate.
Mhm.
So, what are alkaline foods? Look at the 7 most alkaline foods: spinach, cucumbers, kale, avocado, broccoli, celery, bell pepper. And guess what? Did they leave out hamburgers? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just
And-
joking.
but but
Um,
but but I think to your point though, the hamburgers is not just the meat kind either. It's also the vegetarian kind. Wouldn't that be also a problem?
yeah, it's not. It's been proven, and this is, you talk about scientific studies. They have tested whether animal foods are as destructive, inflammatory, more than vegetable plant foods. Guess which one is worse?
Mm.
Animal foods. They
Mhm.
have proven that scientifically.
Interesting.
Okay, so plant burgers can be somewhat healthy.
Mm.
But the problem is sometimes people do weird things to some of the plant burgers to make them more tasty.
Yes.
You have to watch out for that. You can make your own,
Yes.
but by very virtue of doing it, you're heavily processing the food.
Yes.
There are ways to get around that, but most people heavily process the food. We should learn to eat simply, on time, and follow God. That should be our motto. Okay.
Wow.
And I'll just I'm gonna go back to this, and I showed this. Look at how your plate should look. Okay. The standard American diet is full of meats, cereals, cheese, dairy, very little fruits and vegetables, and lots of nuts, seeds, and legumes, but they get those mostly in terms of fried beans, candy with nuts and seeds in it, things that they don't really need. But look at the standard vegetarian diet. It's not a whole lot better if you think about it.
Hmm.
Most vegetarians are breaditarians. They really shouldn't be called vegetarians because they eat very little vegetables and fruit.
Hmm.
That is not a good thing. And if you include milk and cheese in it at this point, we'll do a show what's wrong with cheese and what's wrong with milk. We'll have to come back to that.
Right.
Your ideal diet should look. Oops, I'm sorry. Your ideal diet should look more like the ideal vegetarian diet. 75, 80% of your diet should be fruits and vegetables, whole fruits and vegetables. If you combine a diet like that with proper rest and proper exercise, boy, you could banish many, many things. So I'm
Wow.
going to stop right there.
Well, thank you so very much, Dr. Rick. This has been an amazing expose on some very fundamental principles and keys for the holidays. I am going to take the liberty here because we wanted to end this segment. Wow, there's so much in here, but I'm going to still go ahead and share the recipe with everybody. So Barry, if you don't mind, bringing that video up. This is going to be a flax nog. It's a little play on eggnog. And so I am going to ask Barry to bring that up for us. And what we'll do is if you have any questions in the meantime, please put them in the chat. And Dr. Rick, if you don't mind, whatever comes in the chat, if we can answer them there, that would be helpful to conserve some time. I know you want to be healthy and you want to celebrate. Well, this is just one simple recipe, the Flaxnog recipe. It's designed to give you a beverage, a specialty drink to go with your meal that will be extremely healthy, amazingly tasty, delicious, and at the same time that it will allow your guests to say, ooh, that was really good. Can I have some more? And just make a limited amount so it has high value, right? Don't make it too available. But here is the flaxnog recipe. As you can see the layout, this is pretty much all of the ingredients here that we have. And we're going to give you the entire list of items here, and we'll run through them very quickly. So there's a banana, medium to large, persimmons, the fuyu type. Doesn't really matter the type, I don't think, but this is the one that we're using here, a Bosque pear. Again, the kind of pear shouldn't really influence the flavor very much. A carrot, a medium carrot, this gives it a color that's really a little bit more festive. And ginger, one thumb-sized piece. This is where the flavor is going to actually pop. Lime also, a thin slice with a little of the rind, because this is going to also emphasize a special flavor. Turmeric root, Going to make it a little bit orangey again. A medium piece has its own special flavor with it. We have flax seeds. Primary reason for the flax seeds here is to make this thicker. Um, Similar like a nog might be a little bit thicker and creamy. Um, you can regulate the amount. It says 2 to 3 tablespoons here. And then, well, if you're like me, you want to be able to control the sweetness. You want it to be sweet when you want it sweet, and you want to cut back. Well, here is the healthy kind of sweet. We have two versions of it, or two items. We have pure monk fruit powder. This, please get the one without the erythritol. The erythritol is not a very good option to include, and most places sell the two combined, monk fruit with erythritol. Please get the one without. And you have the pictures here to be able to guide you. 2 cups of pitted dates. Also very important to use 2 full cups of pitted dates to calm down the flavor of the lime just right so that it pops with a flavor, but it's masked enough so that everyone can really truly enjoy it. And then choose some red berries that are dried and sweetened with fruit juice, and that makes it you'll see how we are actually using that. Well, here is, again, going back to the beginning stage of the ingredients. You can see we have a tablespoon and a quarter teaspoon available. But these are the items here. We'll run through them. Here's our banana. We've added our piece of ginger into our resource plate right here. And I added our carrots. Our grapes are here as well. And there you have our persimmons. And this may be unfamiliar to some of you. Even when I was purchasing these, the lady that was checking me out at the supermarket said, "What is this? How do you eat it? All right, how do you use it?" Now, my wife loves to just eat this as is, just start biting into it. The skin is really thin and it's very sweet. It's delicious, but it gives a flavor to the smoothie too that is really going to be incredible, to the flax nog. And you can see it has a base where it has um, the leaves attached to the fruit there. You can take that off, and that's very easy to come off with a knife. And then it's ready to go into the resource plate, cut in 4 pieces. Then we have our pear. This is the Bosc pear. Again, use a Bartlett or any other kind of pear that you might find available. It adds a special grittiness to it and adds to the texture. And then, of course, the lime, a very thin slice of lime that we talked about. So we add the lime in here as well. And of course, our flax seeds. Now, 2 to 3 tablespoons. If you like it really thick, make it 3 tablespoons. If you want it to be just a little more runny, 2 tablespoons will be just fine. And you put that, then I like things really sweet, so I'm automatically, even though it's optional for you, I'm automatically adding in my quarter teaspoon of monk fruit and then two solid cups of dates. Yes. So we have everything here together, and we're going to take all of this and put that right into the blender. You can see in the top left that our plate is now empty, our resource plate. Everything's been emptied into the pitcher, the canister for the blender. Coupled with that, 2 cups of ice and about a cup and a half of ice, approximately, and 2 cups of water will be ideal for this to mix well. And here we are. We have everything in the blender, including the ice and the water. I would recommend putting this on a smoothie cycle. And if you have it setting like that, run it as you would normally for a smoothie. Run it twice so that the flax seeds mix well and actually create a thicker beverage for you. And flex nog so here we have what it looks like once it's poured. You can certainly see how we use the sweetened dried fruit, the cranberries in this case, and there it is. And well, the proof is in the taste, right? And so here we go. I had the pleasure of making this and being able to taste it. It was really, really amazing. And so here we go.
That was good.
And so here, that was really good. So this is where we are, right? The flaxnog recipe, you got a chance to see the entire process. And you see flagnog recipe is coming up here now. And this is the whole idea, to celebrate and be healthy this holiday. This will give you a start. Experiment with it. Let us know how it actually comes out. And would love to be able to hear the kinds of things that you are doing to not only celebrate with family and friends and have a wonderful relationship based holiday, but when it gets to the food, let us also know what you're doing really special to ensure that your health is always considered, even during the holidays. Cheers. Thank you, Barry. Thank you for that. And so I think what I'd like to do is to, I think we're fielding questions in the chat, which is great. Thank you for sharing and those answers, Dr. Rick, and for those who asked the questions. Yeah, we're doing multitasking there. And just want to thank everybody for coming out. Um, let's see. I think what I'd like to do is, since we're just running about 10 minutes behind. So if we could have our closing prayer now, and those of you who would like to stay on just to chat for a few minutes, we're very happy to do that. But next month, we're going to have more recipes and less talk. All right, we're going to have, because we've laid the foundation with the principles here, and we have someone working on a special, very special soup. I think she came off the line just a few minutes ago. This is one of our team in the country of Panama, and we'll have others that we're going to be presenting as well. So we're going to bow our heads for prayer at this time, and just reminding you, it's the second Tuesday every single month. We're here and we're sharing natural health principles so that you can honor God better in your life. Let's bow our heads for prayer. Thank you, Dr. Rick, for tonight too. That was awesome. Dear God, we want to thank you for this opportunity to come to you one more time, to thank you for providing the medicines that our body really needs, the lifestyle recommendations and commandments that you've given to us. Allow us the strength and the resolve to follow, to learn and follow, and to be able to implement in our lives, and even to the extent, Father, that we could teach others. Please allow us a blessing when we come back next month. Let us hear more testimonies of what your lifestyle has done to improve our health, our well-being, and allow us, Lord, when it all is said and done, that we'll give you the honor, the glory, and the praise for it all. And this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, so if we can turn off the streaming, Mr. Barry, we're going to just